Everyone seems to love juicy watermelon in the summertime. Native to Africa, melons require warm temperatures and a long growing season. By late summer, they should be just about ready to harvest. Here's how to grow and harvest watermelons in your garden. Because watermelons need a long period of warm weather to grow well, they tend to be more popular in warmer climates with long growing seasons. However, gardeners in colder climates can still have success in growing watermelons by starting seeds indoors or purchasing young plants from a nursery, and by growing shorter season varieties. Depending on the variety of watermelon, it can take between 70 and 100 days to go from planting to harvest. Growing square watermelons is as easy as placing a young fruit into a square box. As the watermelon grows, it will grow into the box and grow in the shape of a cube. The mold must allow sunlight and air to pass through. To determine the size of the mold, check the seed package to find out the mature size of the fruit you're growing, and then pick a mold that's a little smaller, 7. Make sure there's an opening in the lid for the stem, and that there's a lid that opens, closes, and latches. Glass and acrylic boxes are ideal because they allow sunlight to pass through. You can find special molds designed to grow watermelons, which are available from internet suppliers. You can also use a wooden or metal box with lots of holes in it. Alternatively, you can make your own mold from wood, metal, or another material. If you're stuck for molds, you can also use a concrete or cinder block for the mold, but this will not yield a perfectly square watermelon. Pick a healthy watermelon from the vine. When the watermelon fruit is still young and about the size of a softball, choose a healthy specimen to grow into a square. Look for fruit with no bruises, blemishes, holes, or insect damage. You should also look for a round fruit, since this will likely grow more evenly. Place the watermelon into the mold. Open the box or mold and place the healthy fruit inside. Leave the fruit on the stem so it will continue to grow. Close the lid partway. Slot the stem into the opening in the lid. Close the lid so the fruit is inside the box but still attached to the plant by the stem. Latch the lid so the growing fruit doesn't burst out of the box. 8. Place the box on the ground with the lid and stem at the top. Continue caring for the watermelon as it grows. Make sure it gets plenty of sunlight throughout the day, and water the plant if there's a dry spell. Watermelons have a long growing season, and the weather will need to stay between 70 and 80 Fahrenheit, 21 and 27 Celsius, consistently for the fruit to grow and ripen properly. As the watermelon grows, the fruit will get bigger and will eventually take on the shape of the mold. Monitor the growth of the watermelon. If it appears to be too big for the box, take it out and allow it to finish maturing outside the box. Harvest the square watermelon when it is ripe. The watermelons will all mature around the same time, so you can gauge if your square watermelon is ripe by the maturity of the other fruit on the vine. To harvest your square watermelon, unlatch the lid and gently pull the watermelon out of the box. A watermelon is ready for harvest when the tendrils around the stem dry out, a light patch develops on the bottom of the fruit, and the fruit sounds dull and hollow when you tap on it. In cool climates with short growing seasons, start seeds indoors 2 to 3 weeks before your last frost date. Plan to transplant seedlings into the garden about 2 weeks after that date, or when the soil has warmed to at least 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. In warmer climates with long growing seasons, sow seeds directly outdoors 1 to 2 weeks after your last frost date, as long as the soil temperature has warmed to at least 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Young watermelon plants can also be bought from nurseries. Plant these after there is no longer a chance of frost occurring. They are very tender. Watch the local forecast and err on the side of caution. Consider laying black plastic over your planting area in order to warm the soil even more. Tip: starting with young plants can result in an earlier harvest, usually up to 2 weeks earlier, so consider buying young plants, particularly if you live in a cooler climate. Choosing and preparing a planting site. Amend soil with aged manure, seaweed, or compost before planting. Watermelons are heavy feeders, meaning they need soil that is fertile and has a high nutrient level. Also check out our 3-in-1 plant soil meter, which will help you out in your gardening. Link is given in the description. Watermelons do best in loamy, somewhat sandy, well-drained soil. They can struggle in soil that contains too much clay and doesn't drain well. Watermelons prefer a soil faith between 6.0 and 7.5, slightly acidic to neutral. Watermelons need a lot of space, up to 20 square feet per plant. Their vines need room to sprawl, so plant them in a place where they won't crowd out other crops. Growing the vines in raised rows, known as hills, ensures good drainage and will hold the sun's heat longer. Plan to space the plants 2 to 3 feet apart in a 5-foot wide hill. If you're growing in traditional rows, space them at least 6 feet apart. How to plant watermelons. Sow seeds 1/2 to 1 inch deep outdoors or 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep in seed starting pots indoors. Tip: to allow for more root growth, use larger starting pots than you would for most seeds. Also consider using compostable pots that can be cut away or planted directly in the garden, as this will minimize the risk of damaging seedlings' tender roots during transplanting. If direct seeding outdoors, sow 4 to 6 seeds per hill, eventually thinning to 2 to 3 seedlings. Transplanting seedlings. Handle watermelon seedlings with extreme care when you transplant. Their roots are very fragile, so try not to disturb the soil when removing them from pots. Growing watermelons is a rewarding and fun experience that can be enjoyed by gardeners in all climates. With the right variety, soil preparation, and attention to detail, you can have delicious watermelons ready to harvest in no time. Furthermore, the same technique can be applied to grow other fruits or vegetables in the form of a cube or other shapes. We recommend you to watch our previous video about how to grow broccoli at home. Also, we recommend you to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for more videos about gardening, such as tips for growing vegetables, starting a garden, and more. Thank you.